stage where we have a very small enrollment. We have moved to the stage of massification, where right now we have 23.5% of the gross enrollment ratio of enrollment of the graduates of those who want to be in that age group are in higher education. So the gross enrollment ratio in higher education is 23.5%. We have close to 33 million students enrolled in higher education in India. We've had distance mode. What we used to, so there are two ways of taking education and post-secondary education. One is the traditional way, where it's brick and mortar, but the second one is alternative ways. So the reliance on alternatives to traditional institution-based learning was limited in the past in higher education. Over a period of time, it has emerged not only as an important alternative, but has started questioning the traditional forms of teacher-centered learning in higher education. So we had what is called the distance mode of education. In the distance mode of education, the distant mode of education accounts for nearly 19% of the total enrollment in higher education in India. The first open university, they call the open universities in higher education, was called the Indira Gandhi National Open University. It was established in 1985. So right now we have 13 state open universities, 1 private open universities, and 116 dual mode universities offering ODL model, open distance learning model. So there is a potential. There is distance learning happening. How do we strengthen the openness about this distance learning? That is something that we will be able to talk about. So what's happening in India? What's the MOOCs potential? Like I said, the new learning models are also emerging in India. The challenges of massification leading to a surge of aspirations of higher education certainly would necessitate either more institutions of the conventional type, either we build more brick and mortar universities infrastructure, or expand the traditional distance learning mode of delivery. But does MOOCs, do we have an answer in MOOCs? MOOCs potential in less developed countries is enormous. If we take assistance of ICT, which is available, India can accelerate the pace of massification of India's higher education. It is being considered, it is looked as, theoretically, it is looked as a pathway of expansion of higher education, democratization of higher education, which was elite in nature earlier. It's massifying now, but in that massification, where we have aspirations of the youth, we have a demographic dividend, the youth coming into and aspiring to for higher education, we could either build more universities, or we can have expansion online. Theoretically, if we unpack the word MOOCs, it's massive, A-M, it's massive, which means theoretically it doesn't have a limit. It's open, again, it's limitless, it's online. So there is, if you just, from your mind, move away from a university which has these walls where students think and learn and teach. We have potential there. India has an enrollment of that's bad. That's fine. India has an enrollment of 0.25 million students, and that accounts for largest non-US first among the BRICS country, created a consortium of leading universities to offer MOOCs courses in Mandarin. In IITs, India relies MOOCs for skills in the IIT sector. So, for example, there's Swayam, which is developed in IIT Mumbai. I'll talk more about Swayam. And we also have the target of connecting 1 billion Indians by 2020. So will MOOCs lead to massification of global higher education in India? First, let me just say that India enrolls the second largest number of students, just wrapping up here, summarizing, after USA in MOOCs. Several institutions from India joined the MOOCs platform. The IIT Mumbai has joined hands with edX to train engineering teachers. IIT Delhi is offering a course on web intelligence in partnership with Coursera. The Udacity, in collaboration with Georgia Tech and AT&T, offer an online MOOCs master's degree in India. It seems that MOOCs platform are increasingly used by those selected institutions which have a position in providing quality education. Now, will MOOCs lead to a massification of global higher education in India? It's like this. So there's the study, and I can give the reference to the studies some of the studies that have been done. And what we found, what this study finds is that most MOOCs students are young, male, and educated, living in urban areas. So that's so those are the population that's right now benefiting from these. They are English speaking and technology friendly groups. Nearly 80% already hold a university degree. So it's not that they are enrolling online for a degree. They are enrolling online to enhance their skills in a particular sector. They have good English proficiency. They are full-time employed. They are not necessarily looking for a degree. And the limitation is that we have a limited technological infrastructure. The government of India is moving towards 1 billion internet connectivity by 2020. So they are male. So being in all, we need to think around how do we improve the proportion of women accessing online courses. There's a whole 50% of the population is being left out here. And not necessarily that women will only access women-related online courses. We need to improve their accessibility to chartered accountancy courses, for example, and leadership courses. All the courses that men do. While on the other hand, in India, we have great hairdressers who are men. We've got very famous hairdressers who are men, so it has to be, MOOCs is not a domain that is it's a gender neutral domain. So we need to get our heads around and think about what do we do. Of course, I didn't mention increasing women's proportion in my policy implication because I think that's a given. For me, that's a given to begin with. But yes, we need to expand the technological infrastructure. Can we also think of leveraging MOOCs to strengthen distance learning? We do have ODL, Open Distance Learning been told and I've read that MIT, Stanford, they're all doing that. They're using MOOCs to enhance the quality of their courses, courses that they teach in their classrooms. MOOCs in Indian languages. We have as many states as we have, those many languages we have. So English or Hindi is not the only language that India speak in. So we've got many regional languages. So we should have these online courses, and that is one of the limitations. China did it, Mandarin. We could also do as much. Only when students, rural areas, so only when students from colleges located in rural areas get access to technology and new courses, MOOCs will make a major impact of higher education in India. Because we have to understand and we have to know 85% of our enrollment in higher education, 85% it is in our rural colleges and universities. So we already are aware that students right now are not going online to get a degree. They're going online to enhance their already existing skills. But if we want to make it massive in the Indian context, we need to go into the rural areas. And your providing pen drives is, I think, one of the very practical way of making it massive. I would say MOOCs, we should see MOOCs as a friend and not, it's being termed as a disruptive innovation. I would call it a supportive innovation. So MOOCs as a friend that reinforces quality in higher education, because MOOCs brings transparency of content. And when there is transparency, there is improvement in quality. There is accountability.